Today, once again, we have Matt Struthers to give us the crop report of the week for Saskatchewan. So thank you so much for being with us today, Matt, once again.
No, thanks for having me.
What is new in the crop report for Saskatchewan to start off the month of June?
So now this week we're sitting at 76% of the crop now in the ground. That's up from 52% last week, but still behind the 5-year average of 93%. So still a lot of work to do. And the main progress we're seeing is obviously in the Southwest, West Central, and Northwest regions, where which has been drier. There hasn't been as many issues with delays and such. Whereas in the East, like we've been saying for weeks now, they're just getting all those rains. So, and they're holding a lot of producers up.
With that percentage being lower, what are people going to have to do in order to get their crop in sooner? What is kind of that option? Are they just going to have to wait and hope and see? Or is the plan to maybe have to seed when it is wetter?
There's certainly a lot of options, and it all depends on your current situation on your farm. So like a lot of producers in the East who have been delayed are taking every opportunity that they can to get into their fields. It stops raining for 2 days, it dries out a little bit, and they're getting in there and they're seeding as much as they can before it rains again. Others who just haven't had the chance to even start are investigating other ways, instead of using air drills and traditional seeding equipment. They're looking at other ways such as broadcasting seed, which is not, we don't recommend that as your first kind of way of seeding. But of course, if it's the only option you have, then it's the only avenue you might take. So there's different ways that producers can go about it. The deadlines are coming up. I urge every producer out there who's having delays and having some issues getting seed in the ground to consult with their crop insurance agency, the local office, and find out when those deadlines are and stay on top of that so you're not getting yourself in any trouble when it comes to coverage. So I think the last deadline is June 20th. So certainly there's still some time, but the clock is kind of ticking down for the kind of the window of seeding, especially because we know that since it has been raining in the past couple of weeks, it could continue to stay raining. But I looked at the forecast for much of the province in the next 3 to 5, close to 10 days, and it doesn't look like rain's on the forecast for a lot of areas. So that's very promising to see. In the East, that is, I'd hope in the West that there is some rain that comes soon.
A lot of that 76% of producers having their crop in. What kind of is the next steps for those producers, and when kind of do they need to get right back on the roll and start doing stuff once again?
I mean, producers who have finished up their seeding, they'll be out there rolling some fields if it's lentils, picking rocks and stuff like that, and then also they'll be going full tilt into their spraying operations. So in the last couple of weeks, wind has been quite an issue, so there hasn't been a whole lot of spraying before, kind of a pre-seed burn. So now they're trying to catch up and get ahead of those weeds now, and so hopefully the weather permits that. And then the same is with flea beetles. We know that we've had a few reports this past week that flea beetles across the whole province are coming out with a vengeance against little canola seedlings. So producers will be working very quickly and to get ahead of those little flea beetles and to make sure that they haven't lost too much of their crop.
Hopefully the crop report will be much more positive. We'll be back to a little bit more normal in the coming weeks. So once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, and I hope so too.